Welcome to your custom deep dive. Today, our mission is exploring this really fascinating new frontier in human AI interaction. You know, you often hear these stories about young Japanese women having AI boyfriends.
Right. Yeah, we see that a lot.
Or like you hear about AI increasingly being used as a digital counselor. Well, today we have a story from our sources that is a little bit different but surprisingly similar. We're looking at a personal account from a podcast producer named Elton.
Yeah, we're essentially looking at someone using large language models as this executive functioning tool, but achieving these highly emotional, really deeply personal results in the process.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Alton was basically drowning in professional chaos. He had this massive, just completely overwhelming 12-item to-do
Oh,
list,
yeah, it was intense. We're talking about managing 5 YouTube channels, 8 active podcasts, and on top of that, sitting right in the middle of launching a brand new show.
which is just crazy. I mean, the mental load of that kind of context switching has to be staggering. Usually a professional in that situation might, sit down with a manager or maybe a consultant to prioritize. But Elton went straight to Gemini.
Exactly. He fed the AI screenshots of all his active projects, along with 2 massive Excel spreadsheets that were just full of his historical production data.
Mm.
And his core query was brilliantly simple. He just asked, what should I really be working on?
It makes me think about handing someone a massive tangled box of wires, right? If you asked a human to untangle that, you'd have to sit there and explain what every single wire goes to.
Which is exhausting.
Right. It's exhausting just to provide the backstory, but the AI instantly processes that tangled mess without needing any of that human preamble.
And what's really fascinating here is how the technology bypassed that fatigue of human explanation entirely. Because LLMs excel at pattern recognition, right? So feeding it those Excel sheets allowed the AI to instantly cross-reference his stated goals against the actual output of his daily tasks.
Right. It identified the bottlenecks just purely through algorithmic processing.
Exactly. And the response he got wasn't just a reorganized list. Gemini straight up told him to entirely stop working on certain tasks.
Wait, really? It just told him to stop.
Literally labeled them small potatoes that would make zero difference to his larger goals. Then it gave him 3 specific priorities to focus all his energy on, and it backed it all up with its reasoning.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Because I have to push back a little here. If someone looked at my hard work and called it small potatoes, I think I'd be, like, kind of insulted. I mean, I wouldn't feel liberated by that.
Well, that's the thing. Elton describes himself as a perfectionist, but he noted that he almost didn't even need to read the why. He recognized the truth of the AI's logic immediately. He actually called the experience liberating, like even a near spiritual experience.
A spiritual experience from a spreadsheet analysis. Okay, why did this feel so incredibly good to him?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the feeling of liberation comes directly from the source of the feedback. Like you said, if a human boss or a colleague calls your work small potatoes, there is inherent ego involved there.
Oh, for sure. You're navigating tone and office politics.
Right, and a personal sting of feeling undervalued.
Hmm.
But the AI provides a completely objective, baggage-free analysis. It bypasses our emotional attachments to the tasks because it isn't judging Elton's worth. It's just identifying statistical inefficiencies.
And here's where it gets really interesting. It gave his perfectionism an out. You know, perfectionists get trapped in the weeds. They're driven to execute every single task flawlessly, even the ones that don't actually move the needle.
Exactly. The AI acted as a circuit breaker. That sense of permission Ellen found is exactly why we're seeing AI shift from a purely analytical tool into a relational one.
Yeah, he didn't just get a task manager out of this deep dive into his spreadsheets.
No, not at all. He found an objective sounding board that essentially relieved him of the guilt of leaving things undone.
Which is wild. I mean, we might not all be looking for an AI boyfriend or a digital therapist, but we are all carrying around our own tangled boxes of wires.
Absolutely, we all have them.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. If an AI can successfully give someone permission to drop their perfectionism at work, what other personal burdens or habits are you clinging to, just simply waiting for an objective voice to tell you it's okay to let them go?